All right. So a very warm good morning to everyone here, and I'm really excited to have Stacy Emerson, CEO of her Treasure Boutique, with us on the panel today at the Enalito's North America D2c Brand Summit 2021. Uh, my name is Kuldeep. I am the senior strategist at Enalito. We are a AI company working in the field of retail, solving challenges and problems in the field of retail and e-commerce. And I'm really happy to have Stacy today with us. Stacy, let me do a quick and a very brief introduction, and then we can begin. So Stacy Emerson is the CEO of our Treasure Boutique. She is also the celebrity wardrobe stylist, fashion designer, speaker, philanthropist. And in 2014, she opened Hidden Treasure Clothing Boutique online store. And within that year, they developed a new understanding for business and realized it was not just a business, but a ministry and a brand. And they found a new respect for business, and they realized their business was doing wonderfully well. And in 2015, they rebranded their business to Her Treasure. And their mission is to empower women to be proud to be her beyond societal classification. And their focus is geared towards the everyday active professional woman who is looking to feel sexy and versatile, but remain covered and classy. And Stacy has done her education from Southern Illinois University, and as well as she has been doing some remarkable work in the field of fashion. So let's go to Stacy and hear from her. So Stacy, welcome. My
Thank
first
you.
question for you is purpose. What is the purpose of your life and definitely your brand?
Yes, absolutely. So one thing that I love so much is developing purpose in other people. And I believe that purpose can be one thing at one point in your life. But I think that God has already given us a purpose on earth, and that's to love one another, to move according to his plan and his way. It's not always going to be the same plan. It's not going to always be on the same path. It may change, throughout life, but purpose is what moves you and what gets you started in the morning. And so I'm excited to be walking in my purpose right now, and that is pouring into people, and specifically women, through more of a on the fashion end, but that is also then building up their faith in themselves. I believe that when you look good, you feel good. I believe that when you look good, you also show up differently in the world. And so that allows you to be more confident in going forth and taking on harder things and harder feats. And that includes business, that can include corporate America, that can include us speaking and just talking to one another day to day. We meet so many people every day that's shy, that won't smile. And a lot of times it's because they're missing a part of themselves, or they don't trust themselves enough. But what purpose does is give you a push to keep going, a push to keep loving one another, a push to smile, you know what I mean? And a
Yeah.
push to just show up as yourself every day.
Wow, that's wonderful. Excellent thoughts, Stacy. I must say that. Stacy, your business. If you could share a story about how you started this venture and what was that trigger point that you felt that and you started this business. Definitely, the vision is very strong that you have, but what was the trigger point? And we would love to know that backstory about your brand.
Absolutely. So like most people, or maybe not most people, because I do know some people who don't like to shop, but as a young girl, my mother, my grandmother, this was like a pastime. This is what we did. We shopped. And I always dreamed of having a store full of different designs that I loved, and that I felt made women feel beautiful. And so it was really a dream. And I remember even in high school wanting to go to school to be a wardrobe stylist. And my mom, she told me, she said, girl, you're going to go to school for something practical and get a job in it.
Oh,
So you can make some money. And I was like, but I really wanted to do fashion. She said, you can do that on the side, but you're going to need to have a sustainable income. And so I always knew that I wanted to help people. I was always competitive and I love sports. So I decided that I wanted to be a physical therapist. And I thought that this would be a great way to kind of intertwine what I love to do. And at first I thought I wanted to work with athletes, thinking that this would be an easy job to do. I did an internship with the Atlanta Falcons Physical Therapy Center in Atlanta. And I realized that healthy people, there is a lot more difficult and a lot more work to do physical therapy with. And so I kind of quickly changed my mind from wanting to work in the sports arena and went into geriatrics. And you may be like, what does that have to do with you going into fashion, right? Mm-hmm. Well, it was the motivation, it was the push. It started my career in fashion. It started my career in opening up my boutique, because originally I had no funding to do that on my own. And so this 23-year-old graduating from Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, I started working in a geriatric community, a skilled nursing facility, and physical therapy became my funding. Mm-hmm. And I was 23, making over 6 figures a year, and I wasn't missing a beat. And so I said, let me start by opening up an online boutique. And so at that time, I really hadn't researched, and it wasn't a ton of people out here doing online boutiques at that time in 2014. There was a few, but a lot of people were not offering any advice. Mm-hmm. And so I went in and I made a lot of mistakes. When I tell you I made a lot of mistakes,
let's talk about it. Yeah.
We're gonna get into the mistakes, because I feel like it's something that's necessary to talk about, because a lot of people do not talk about the mistakes they made, but that you see the success, you see the highlights. So in that time, I was 23 at the time when I opened up the boutique. And so, but I was making good money. So I was pouring money into the business and not even realizing what a return on investment was. I didn't know what that looked like. I had no idea what a profit margin was. I had no idea, how to price things. I just priced it because okay, this is what I would pay for it. Yeah. And so very naive. And I think it was the best way to enter business, to be honest. To be naive in that moment allowed me to go in wholeheartedly. Yeah. But over time, it allowed me to also see, okay, now I need some help. And so the best thing that I did was get a coach. And that is when I rebranded. And my coach may be on here. Her name is Asia. And at that time, I absolutely needed a coach and some guidance. But it was more or less in my mind about what everything looked like, not the internal work, not the strategy. And so that's how I really got started, by basically just having a desire to work in fashion, a desire to make women feel good, because I knew how I felt when I dressed up. I knew how I felt when I walked into a room and I was confident about the outfit that I had. I know that carried me, it made me carry myself differently. And even scientifically, it is proven that if you're well-dressed, you make more money. If you're well dressed, you also get approached differently, and you even have more opportunity to grow in business. Meaning the move up, if you're in corporate America, you climb the ladder a lot faster because they assume that you know what you're talking about. And so I knew the impact that fashion had on my life. I knew the impact that fashion has on other people's lives. And I just wanted to be able to impact women in the way that I could. That was my way of reaching them. And so that's kind of how I got started. I don't want to go on too long because I want you to interject where you need to, but that definitely was the beginning of a beautiful love story.
Wow, that's tremendous. I think that's a very solid story, I must say, and something that has inspired you. I mean, something that you realize, and realizing that at a very early age, that's also very, very powerful, because I think you kind of understood the importance of it, and then you are applying that knowledge directly into your business. Wonderful. That's an excellent and inspiring story. Stacey, let's talk a little bit about starting a business is one thing. Definitely that comes with its own set of challenges. But let's talk a bigger picture. What's your vision for your brand for the next 10 years? I mean, because running a business is like a marathon. And I think for a business to become a brand, it takes years and perseverance. So what is your thought process? What's your vision for the next 10 years for your brand?
Yes, absolutely. And one of the key things you said was starting a business is one thing, but building a brand is another. And I think that a lot of people get it confused. They believe that overnight success is what they're going to receive when they decide that they have an idea. Well, we've been in business for 7 years, and I am grateful for every customer, every person, but I'm still not where I want to be. And so your question to me was, where do I see it going in 10 years? My biggest desire is to be a fashion production company, and that's to house every area of art when it comes to fashion. I would like to have a photography center to help brands establish themselves. I would also like to have a manufacturing company in-house that produces designs for other businesses, because I know how hard it was to get into the design aspect. A lot of people feel like they cannot get into design because they don't know how to sew. And I remember that being a very deterring thing for me. And then I realized that, hey, I can design without knowing how to sew. I can design without, you can equip yourself with the knowledge that you need to know, and then you can outsource those things that you need. So the biggest desire for me is to provide opportunities for people in this arena to be able to live out their dreams. And so as a fashion production company, I would like to be able to provide other stylists and other designers opportunities to sell and design their own pieces. I would like to be just a fashion house that allows for luxury and everyday fashion. These are just things that I think about on a daily basis, but you have to start somewhere. In order to become a household name, you have to put in the work. And I always say that I went from balling to bankruptcy back to a place of, and I needed the bankruptcy to understand what business really was about. It wasn't just pouring in money after money, but to really look at your systems and look at your returns on investments and seeing what is the smart thing to do at that time, because we can have 1,000 ideas, but that doesn't mean that they're all supposed to operate at the same time.
Absolutely. That's well said. And as you said it rightly, it's all about knowing what you want to do and doing it step by step and learning from your mistakes. And I think that's the best way. And I think 7 years is a huge time frame. And I think within 7 years, you are going to make a lot of mistakes and learn from it, improvise, apply new things, and keep moving. That's great. And I think at the same time, you are not just while you are running the business, you are empowering so many people around you. with not just your team, you are inspiring the people, your consumers who are getting in touch with you, buying from you. And I think that's the best thing that you as an entrepreneur are doing. So let's now talk a little bit about mistakes, definitely. Let's talk a few of them, not everything. So if you want to highlight a particular mistake from which you have learned a lot and which you think, let's say, an aspiring entrepreneur should not do, basically someone who wants to launch a fashion brand or a fashion D2C business, that they should not do, what is that mistake and the learning that you would like to share?
I think the biggest mistake that I made was not getting the help that I needed. The things that I didn't know, I should have educated myself on and hired the right people prior to moving into a space that I was unaware of.
Okay.
And I think that was a big mistake only because it cost me money. But really, the way that I look at mistakes is lessons. You're either going to learn or you're going to grow, but you're going to get something from it, right?
Yeah.
And so I learned that, hey, a coach is necessary. I learned that getting someone to guide you through doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger.
Absolutely.
Having a team of people that are there for you, that are pushing you, it makes you better. Yes. Because they're able to operate in their gift, and then you're able to fully operate in yours.
Yes.
The other mistake that I made was thinking that I could do it all myself, right? Which can all kind of go together. Yes. I'm really good creatively, but organization is not my strong suit. I am not a person that is very organized because my mind is creative. So getting people that around you that are maybe more organized than you to help you establish yourself, because without organization, then you're a mess.
Yes.
So when you're presented with opportunities, then it becomes difficult for you to execute.
True.
And when you have the people or the team of people to support what you're doing, then you can be a better you. I'm very good at styling and putting the whole look together. I'm very good at the details of what something looks like, but the small details of how it's going to come together is not my strong suit. So I have an executive assistant that is very good at organizing my schedule so that I can allow time. Time management is not my strong suit. So it helps me because she is good at time management. So I think taking a lot of load off of yourself and not thinking about, man, I don't have enough to pay this person and that person. Do what you can, and people are willing to work and help you. So don't go into business thinking, man, I'm gonna just do it all myself, and it'll eventually work out, because eventually will just turn into years of you stressing. Right. And I think the best book that I've read is I think it's called E-Myth. And it's the Entrepreneur's Guide, but it really helped me understand, hey, you cannot be the CEO, the idea maker, the assistant. You can't do it all.
Oh, yeah.
And have a successful business. You have to give it away. So I think that I spent a lot of money. I put a lot of money into it, and I just continue to put money into it without ever evaluating what worked. You can't do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. You said it rightly. So I think the mistake that you shared is like mistakes, which so if you're making mistakes, it's not actually a mistake. You are moving step by step. It's actually you're doing something new. So obviously there's gonna be an experience that you're going to get, and I think it makes you stronger. And I think now then I think we are living in a world where asking for help makes you strong, and I think that's what is the biggest strength that you have. And I think accepting your mistake again makes you very, very strong. So I think this is a great mistake and learning that you have shared with an aspiring entrepreneur. And absolutely, doing research helps you, And of course, when you're building a brand, I think doing a single person doing everything definitely is not going to produce the results. So you need to have a team which can do specific tasks, and they can work as a team, and then the brand growth can be achieved.
Yes,
These are excellent
absolutely.
learnings. Thank you,
Absolutely.
Stacey. Yeah. Stacey, so now that your brand is not just, I can't say it's a growing brand, definitely, and there are different stages, milestones that you are going to achieve, and yes, it's gonna continue. You have a team, and so I think for a growing brand and to achieve the next milestone that you think, let's say you have X number of customers who are buying from you, in order to make that number 2x or to make the growth 2x, what
Yeah.
are your plans? Are you like, is your business completely bootstrapped, or are you trying to raise a fund so that you can do accelerated marketing and deploy more methods of marketing, so that ultimately brand growth can only be done when you have your brand being talked about, your brand being shown to the world, and teamwork working on it, agencies working on it. So what are your thoughts on it? How do you plan to take your brand to 2x in the next 10 years, maybe? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think strategy is the key. Of course, making sure that one thing that I do in my business, and I think I think all people should do it, but I pray a lot for strategy to exceed my own expectations.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we can get content where we are, and we can believe that's the only place that we need to go. So my thought behind growth is really just making sure that I'm showing up authentically for my target audience,
Mm-hmm.
and that I can make sure that, hey, in this space, this is who I am, and that allows people to be attracted to me. And I'm no longer chasing for this growth, but that they're coming because they're attracted to what they see and what I offer. No longer reaching for people, but allowing people to come to me. Because a lot of times I think it was a metaphor or some type of story about the cat. And it says, if you chase a cat, he's going to run. But if you have the cheese or the milk, he's going to come to you. And so in that, I'm like, I want to make sure that I have the milk so that they're coming to me, but also incorporating those natural things of making sure that I'm expanding marketing and content, which is a really hard space right now, because I feel like Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, it's so many things that overwhelm people day to day with brands that you can just become another brand in the mix.
Yes.
You can just become another. So it's like, what is it that you do that stands out? What is it that you do that allows people to connect with you, that becomes relatable?
Yes.
And then, of course, putting, like you said, building. I do bootstrap the business because it's no other way for me to do it. Of course, I can do funding, and I have done fundraisers that were very successful, especially in 2020. And I think that what most people don't understand is that there has to be a bottom line that you have in order to grow. I think that people see on Instagram people making $1 million in an hour, or they make $1 million in 2 minutes, but they didn't see the hard work behind it. And so I think a lot of times we have to realize that these are highlights of people's lives, but they worked really hard. It was a time where they may have had $0 and they were trying to figure out how to make that million. So they worked their butt off to build up a clientele, or they build up an audience, they build up community. And my big thing is community. And so my desire in the next few months here is to just build a community of people who just want to be fed when it comes to fashion. Build that community up to a point where they're being fed with what they need to help them equip them. I believe that loyalty, once you get like a brand loyalty, then you can grow beyond what you thought, because now these are people who become natural brand ambassadors for you because you are loyal to them and you give them what they need and they know it. And so they're going to speak about it, because word of mouth is still, I think, the biggest way to grow your brand.
Absolutely. Very well said. I must say, these are excellent insights that you shared, Stacey, because I think for brand, I think it's the experience. Typically, when a customer is buying from you, they're not just buying a physical, tangible product, but they're buying the whole experience. And I think that experience defines whether it doesn't matter whether you're a small, medium, or large size brand. That experience defines what kind of brand you are and how consistent that experience is throughout. And that defines the growth, because that customer in itself become your ambassador, and that word of mouth helps you. And this is the biggest thing that every big brand that we see out there, which inspires people, let's say Nike, Apple, Everlay, and all these big brands do that. So excellent. I think this is great insight and learning. Stacey, let's talk a little bit about your marketing strategies. And definitely you have your colleagues team, you working together to formulate your marketing strategy for your brand growth.
Yes.
2020 has been turbulent time. 2021 has been, we can say, a recovery time where we are kind of things are gradually improving, and 2022, 2023. So we have a lot of ground to cover going forward. So what are your plans for the next year in terms of marketing strategy? What are some of the new things that you would like to do in terms of marketing for your brand growth? What are your thoughts?
Absolutely. So some of the things that I plan to do in the next year is continue to educate, continue to empower women, and continue to move to give visual inspiration, right? Yeah. So the big thing for me right now in marketing is focusing on Pinterest. Pinterest has this amazing platform that inspires. And I feel like you can do so much selling. You can push so much of your own brand, but the people that become attracted to you, they are inspired by you. Something sparked them. And so my biggest focus this year is really trying to inspire people that didn't see something that finds it in us. So our biggest desire is to start to build our Pinterest, because I know that people go there to find inspiration. So intentionally, people go to Pinterest and they might type in blazer look or fall outfits, because they're looking for inspiration. They're looking for somebody to show up, and then they're going to copy that. And so my biggest focus right now is to inspire. I have empowered women this entire time just by showing them this is something that you can do. You can show up for yourself every day, and it's a form of self-care. And I felt like 2020 was a big wake-up call for a lot of people. We sat in the house doing nothing, and so you got to sit with yourself for a long time, and you got to think about, what does it mean to be me? What does it mean to be by myself? What does it mean to, if the whole world shut down, what can I do? What can I provide? And so in that time, I was able to realize that, hey, I have something that can help others. I have something that can educate, because a lot of people think fashion is simple. Oh, it's easy. Oh, she just can put some stuff together. But what it is that you have to educate yourself on what looks good on you, or what looks good on the next person. And so focusing on those pillars of education, empowerment, and inspiration, I feel like that will help the marketing itself, because then you begin to attract people to your inspired post versus just a selling post. And so that's in the next few months, that is my desire, is to move into more of an inspiration space when
Right.
it comes to, and then make them feel what it is that you're trying to inspire them to do. So I think that that is our biggest focus right now in our marketing strategy is just making sure people feel inspired by every post.
Wow, that's a very, very thoughtful strategy, I must say, because I think now more than ever, inspiration is one of the most important things that we need. Yes, everyone has their own intrinsic motivation, but something that can externally help, can inspire you, can allow you to take that leap of faith. And most of the time, people get stuck somewhere, either because of their own thought process or because of circumstances. So I think what you just said, I think you as an entrepreneur and as a brand owner of this venture and how you can inspire and empower others, that's very powerful, I must say. Stacey, let's talk a little bit about your inspiration, definitely.
Yes.
So you are an inspiration to a lot of your colleagues, your team, the people within your network. But whom do you get inspired from? Who is your inspiration, let's say? Whom do you look up to in the real world that constantly inspires you to do good things, bigger things, things which are bigger than you? Who's that person?
I can't single out one person that inspires me specifically creatively, but my family is a big inspiration to me. They have given me everything that I could ever desire, and I want to just be able to give that back. And that's the biggest inspiration that I have. I feel like I've been put on this earth, of course, outside of God, because that is my biggest inspiration, and to continue to move. I think that my family has shown me so much love, and so it has allowed me to see that I can conquer the world. I can conquer anything. And there's nothing too big or too small that I can't do, you know? And on those little things where we don't celebrate ourselves, they remind me that that was a big thing. You know, it's like, even the small things that you feel is like, oh, it ain't no big deal. It's like, they're there and they're rooting me on. And I think that if most people feel that type of love, they will continue to push towards every dream and every desire that they have. So I would have to say that is my inspiration on earth, is my family. The next inspiration would be the way that women feel when they get dressed. It's no specific person, but I have noticed women's confidence go through the roof when they put on a nice outfit. That inspires me to continue to do what I'm doing, even in times where things are hard, because they get hard. And I don't think that entrepreneurship is shown that way as much as it should be, but it gets hard, and you have to inspire yourself. You have to wake up motivated, and you have to stay motivated to continue to do what you do. Even in times where things are not lining up, when money is not there, you're still showing up and with a smile and with excitement. And so it's like having that self-motivation. When I'm on Instagram, when I'm on Pinterest, when I'm on looking through a magazine, I see that somebody continue to believe in themselves. Wonderful. And they continue to push. That's an inspiration to me. So life itself is an inspiration, even if that means that you're not an entrepreneur, but you got a new job, even if that means that you're a janitor. I think that that's an inspiration. Wonderful. That's very, very thought-provoking, I must say, because I think family is the foundation of everything that we do. And if you have a strong support, it can take you to places. That's very, very inspiring, Stacey. And having said that, I think as a brand, definitely, you might be looking up to few brands. So like which brands inspire you? Like which brands you look up to and you feel like you want to be like them? And basically your vision aligns with that brand.
So anything in particular?
So I do like Tory Burch. I like her brand. I like what she stands for. She's a push for women. She always has some type of um, grant or some type of support for women. And so I've always respected her brand. I like Chanel as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm picking people who have been established in this industry
Yeah.
because they went through harder times than I probably did, because it became easier when
Mm-hmm.
online opened up. But
Yep.
Chanel was around when barely movies were, just entering the stages, and their push and their ability to sustain in this world today, meaning they have overcome all the times when some brands may have lost the trend, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
They sustained, and I like the fact that Chanel can be trendy, but it's very much a classic brand that you can't take away the value from, and that's what I like about that brand. So when it comes to looking up to brands, I am looking for the longevity. I am looking for the people who have fought the fight before me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they had a harder way to go. And then I also then look at brands that specifically brands of color,
Mm-hmm.
and especially Black brands, because when it comes to us, we may have received a shorter end of the stick when it comes to financial support,
Yeah.
but they continue to push. And so I'm a big advocate for Black businesses, because it becomes very difficult to financially support your business,
Yeah.
and have people to actually show up for you when you don't have this backing from a bank or from 100,000 followers, or
Right.
but you continue to push. So I would say that those are the brands that I kind of get inspired by, and that I would hope to even relate to.
Wow.
I look at stylists all the time, and I know growing up, Rachel Zoe was like a big inspiration to me. She had the Rachel Zoe show, and that's how I really realized that, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to style.
Wonderful.
And so she's a big inspiration as well, that she has grown her career to a point where, anybody kind of knows her name when it comes to the fashion world. So yeah, that's somebody else that I would say I have
Wonderful.
been
This
inspired.
is those are some excellent visionaries. I think they are
Yeah.
those legendary people, and they are doing excellent work. And yeah, I think they have inspired so many, and that they will continue to inspire. Excellent excellent picks. Now let's talk a little bit about your e-commerce side of things. Basically, you have a online store, a D2C store. So how do you which platform do you use for your D2C brand currently? And how do you what are some of the products that you have listed on your store?
Yes, absolutely. I am currently using Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's the best platform. When I first started in 2014, I used a different platform,
Mm-hmm.
um, and it was very difficult to sell. It didn't track my variants. Shopify makes it simple and easy
Yeah.
to upload products, to keep record of your inventory, to even use the inventory that's coming. You can put that in. I think that Shopify is the number one platform for especially boutique style stores. It just makes it simpler you don't want it to be hard. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's already hard enough. But that platform definitely makes it easier for you to maintain your website, whether you're an expert on websites or not. It's kind of user friendly in that sense. And they provide so much opportunity for every person that even just exists on their platform. I think the blog allows you to really grow as a business owner, as an entrepreneur.
Right.
It challenges you to do better. I mean, they share stories with you so that you can stay inspired and stay motivated. So that is the platform.
Wow. And in terms of the products that you have on your store, like what kind of products do you sell on the D2C brand, and which are the products that people, like customers love? I mean, which are your best sellers, trending? What are those?
Absolutely. So Her Treasure Boutique, we carry small to 3X in women's clothing. So we carry different products at different times, of course, of the year, but anywhere from blazers to blouses to dresses to suits to sets, which is one of our biggest sellers, is 2-piece sets, which are comfortable and versatile, dusters, and we can get into deeper categories like kimono style, and the dress category is a top seller as well. Most women really, and I then also carry swimsuits in the summertime, and that's usually in the Illinois summertime. So it's not as long as somebody that may be in California, but we carry jeans. And one of the biggest sellers is our blazers as well.
Wonderful. Excellent. So you have like something which is for everyone, and which is across categories, and that's amazing. Excellent. Because I think that matters, because when a customer discovers your brand and they land on your site, they should have a collection, the variety, that, because I think everyone is different, everyone is looking for something, and maybe the variant or the color that they might be looking for, if it's not there, definitely they'll just close and move on. So rather than that, it's best to have a larger SKU size and collection that ultimately helps the consumer as well as the brand. Excellent. Good to know that those products are there. Stacey, let's talk a little bit about challenges. Of course, I mean, why I'm talking about this is absolutely because once you are in the world of fashion, you have competition, and you cannot deny that. And as you said in the beginning, it's all about creating that distinction. So what are some of the steps that you take? Ultimately, you tried, as a brand, you're doing several things: education, empowerment, and all these things to convey your brand story. But what are some of the things that you plan to do in order to create that distinction, that the blazers that you have on your D2C site vis-a-vis a competitor's website, what's the uniqueness about it? How do you convey that if given a chance? How do you do that? So
the way that I convey my brand story is staying true to who my target audience is. And I've learned this through coaching as well. The hardest part is falling into a space of wanting to please everyone.
Right.
And when I first started, that was something that I thought I was doing. I thought I was pleasing everybody. Okay, so this store is for everybody. Nobody has to, I don't have to have a specific target audience. I'm just gonna sell to everybody. But everybody is not your customer.
Right.
And that's how you become distinguished within millions of stores. There's 1,000 stores, but there's a reason why people shop with you. Correct. Right? And it could be your delivery, because you're answering a question, you're answering a problem to theirs. You're giving them a solution to their problem.
Right.
And so my biggest thing is always solving a problem for my target audience. I know that my woman is an active, everyday woman. So she needs pieces that transition throughout the day, because she doesn't have time to go and change her clothes just to go out later on that night. So she needs pieces that can show up at work and also look good when she meets her friends for dinner, or that she wants to wear on Saturday when she needs to go to a banquet or something else, and then she wants to meet with her husband later on that day. So I understand that my woman needs that transitional piece. She needs the ability to, she doesn't have a lot of time, but she puts a lot of effort into her look.
Mhm.
And so being focused on who she is, then it allows me to be distinguished, to stand out among the millions of different brands that are out here. And so I don't look at it as competition, but I always say that my customer knows me and knows my brand. And that's why they come back. You know, they return because they know that I'm catering to them and their needs, not everybody's needs, but their needs.
Wonderful. That's very well said. So, as I think an aspiring entrepreneur or someone who's listening this, I think they can learn from what Stacey has said is knowing whom you are, like what is your target audience, what is the persona of the consumers, because you definitely can't sell it to everyone, and your product is not meant for everyone. So you need to know what your products are and then define who is your target audience. That allows you to create that distinction and then grow your brand step by step. Excellent insight, Stacey. Stacey, let's talk a little bit about the marketing channels, the world that we are living in for D2C brand, which is online like yours. Absolutely, we have all the existing channels and everyone is using them, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest, and so on and so forth. Email, you have other channel, SMS. So, and each channel has its own unique advantage and significance. And as a brand, you can leverage all of them and to ultimately speak to your target audience, because every channel, because most of the time people might spend a lot of time on Facebook versus Instagram. So they keep on switching between channels. So as a brand owner, what has been your experience like so far in the last 7 years and counting? Which channel has worked really well for you? And as you said earlier, that you are going to do a little more with the Pinterest channel, which you haven't explored yet. So, so far, what marketing channel has worked best for you for outreach and engagement with your target audience?
Absolutely. So I believe that each platform each channel is used differently and is used to reach different people. I understand, back to the target audience, I understand that my clientele is older. And so I have had a lot of success with Facebook. Facebook engagement. It seems to be more serious buyers on Facebook than on Instagram. Instagram becomes more of a portfolio for what you do and what you have. And it kind of establishes your brand awareness. It gives brand awareness on Instagram for sure. And now I won't discount Instagram because I love the platform and I love how it can interact. I love how you tell your story on Instagram because it's more of a story builder on Instagram. And then I have used Pinterest, but I have not explored their ads. But Pinterest itself is like the futuristic inspiration part. So I get a lot of pins from Instagram, a lot of people who interact with the looks that I may put together or, you know, the picture that I have on that aspect. But what I have noticed on as far as engagement is Instagram becomes more of your short go-to look. And then Facebook builds a longer longevity with your clientele. So your customer retention is better when it comes to Facebook.
Right.
But I feel like you can reach people. I think they say that you must touch one customer 7 times prior to them actually like spending money with you. And so I believe that each one has its own touch point when it comes to that. And so I believe that Her Treasures is built well because it kind of utilizes all platforms. But what I have not utilized is TikTok. And the reason why I haven't really utilized TikTok is because now I do feel like it hasn't evolved, but when it first came out, it was for a younger generation. And I know that my target audience wasn't necessarily on TikTok. So I didn't focus on TikTok as much. It's a lot, I mean, just like content is a lot. Using these channels can be a lot. It's a lot of stress when you talk about building content for each one, because everybody needs something different, but you can repurpose it. And so I'm realizing that TikTok is educating a lot of people now. And so more people are becoming more familiar with TikTok. And so that'll be something that we as a team can go in and kind of think about different ways that we can utilize that platform to reach more people.
Wonderful. Excellent. So you have a well thought strategy for each channel, and you're, as you said it rightly, that every channel has its own importance, significance, and a different appeal, and you're utilizing that really well. Excellent. As we have the next 10-15 more minutes, Stacy, let me request the audience, if they have any questions, they can put in their questions in the Q&A box, and we'll pick 1 or 2 questions if there are any, and we'll continue the conversation in the meanwhile with Stacy. Stacy, you are a bootstrap business, and going forward, definitely, in order to accelerate the business, you might want to raise funding. So have you approached any venture capitalist, or let's say like you want to raise a round? So I mean, how do you look at it? Definitely, because why I'm asking this is, yes, growing the business from the revenue that you're getting is excellent. I mean, if that's happening and if that itself is going to allow the business to accelerate, nothing like that. But if in case given a chance, let's say, what are your thoughts around fundraising, and are you planning to raise a fund for your brand growth, for the D2C brand growth, of course?
Yes. I love the idea of fundraising. I love the idea of venture capital. And I think that I have explored the idea of trying in that space. And more in 2020 did I explore that idea, only because of the situations that we were in. And so many companies were trying to help smaller businesses. And I guess originally I had thought that it wasn't going to work for me. But in the sense that I realized that people want to help, people want to help. And so I am a strong supporter of venture capital. And I actually have considered the Fearless Fund is a venture capital company. And I am interested in actually, pursuing that as well. Haven't fully explored all the things that I would need to do it on a larger scale. And so I think that has been kind of my pushback on it, but I definitely think that it's necessary. I think that if a company can, build up venture capital at first, I think that they would be in a really good space.
Wonderful. Great. So you are thinking in that direction. Yeah, absolutely. Anything that can help your business to grow, I think ultimately capital is needed, and at the right time, if it is available, and if it can be put in, ultimately it's all about growth. And I think you as a brand owner, as a custodian, you want your products to be used by more and more people, and in order to do that outreach, you need that marketing dollar, and I think capital is the key to that. So I think, that's whenever that's possible, I hope that happens and allows you to do that. Great. Now that we have the next 5 minutes left for today's discussion, Stacey, uh, we ask this question to every panelist and to you. My question is, what is that one piece of advice that you would like to give to someone? Let's say a friend comes to you and he or she asks you that they want to launch a business, or let's say someone from your family comes to you and they ask you the same, that what is that advice that you would like to give? Definitely the advice there can't be one single advice, so it's very difficult to kind of curate and give it. But someone who has started everything from scratch, you know what works and what doesn't. So what is that one piece of advice that you would like to give to your loved one, to an aspiring entrepreneur, or someone who's already running a D2C brand, that can help them in their life and their business growth? And what would that be? What is that advice?
Okay. And like you said, finding one piece is always hard.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest advice that I can give is to always remember your why. Always remember why you started and why you keep going. Always remember who your why is. Yeah. And I believe that that will continue to give you the motivation to move forward. True. And to continue to do and show up for your business and for yourself every day. And I guess added to that is then show up every day. You know what I mean? True. Because as a small business owner, I was guilty of not showing up every day, but believing that I was going to get the results of showing up every day. Wow. And in order to receive the results that you're looking for, you have to show up for yourself every day, because people aren't going to show up for you if you don't have the faith to show up for you. And so I think that's my biggest advice, is really remember your why and show up every day. Wonderful. Consistently. Absolutely. Wow. Stacey, I must say this has been an excellent discussion with you, and I'm really grateful to you for taking out time today and talking with us and sharing your learnings and experiences freely, and the kind of integrity and the faith that you have, and you're growing your business. I think it's tremendous. It's a powerful force, and more power to you. And you're not just a business, but you are a brand. And I think that story itself will allow you to make a 10x over the years, and it's continue to inspire more and more people around you. And my best wishes for your business growth. And we would love to chat more with you on maybe another topic. And we try to do as many topics within this discussion, but we would love to chat more with you going forward. And the one learning that if I have to summarize for our audience, or someone who's going to is listening to this, is perseverance is the key. Yes. Is no matter where you are in life, if you know that you are not there for short term, you are there for the long term. So you have to be there, show up, be consistent, and everything will fall in place and everything will work out for you. No matter what the obstacle is, no matter what the challenges are, you will continue to grow. And as Stacey has started her D2C journey from scratch, and the mistakes that she made, that's what allowed her to do greater things, and she's continued to do that. So with this, I think this is a great discussion, Stacey, and thank you so much once again, and wishing you all the very best. And thank you. We'll speak soon. Thank you so much. Have a great day. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. And I wish you guys the best of luck. And I look forward to having another opportunity to chat with you again. Thank you, Stacey. Have a great day ahead. Thank you. Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.